Okay, welcome to this video, guys. We're going to be talking today about dividing numbers into a given ratio. And so we're still with our same learning goal where students can solve everyday problems involving ratios, rates, and percentages. And at the end of this, you will be able to divide a quantity into a given ratio and solve for unknown quantities of some given ratio. All right, so welcome to the unitary method. So the unitary method is like sometimes it's easier if we had, so this is a whole, so this is like 100% of something, but it's easier sometimes to, rather than worry about if the answer was, oh gee, find, turn this into 76% or something like that, rather than sort of going through the process of figuring out what fractions to multiply stuff by, that sort of stuff. Sometimes it's easier to first break it down into what 1% looks like and then bring it back out into the 76%. Okay, and that's called this unitary method, where you break everything down into its smallest pieces first and then bring it back out again to what you need it to be. Okay, right. So a couple of key ideas for us to think about. Ratios should be thought of in sense of their parts. Okay, so 3:7 means 3 parts of one quantity to 7 parts of another, and a total together of 10 parts. Okay, now there are two main methods to solving ratio problems. The first one is we're going to look at using the unitary method to reduce the quantity to just one part, and then we're going to expand it out into the necessary ratios. Okay, so first we're going to share $45 into the ratio of 2:7. So our first step is going to be, we're going to find the number of parts. So 2 plus 7 is equal to 9. So there's 9 parts all up. Right, second, we find the amount for one part. So that would be $45 divided by 9 is $5. Okay, once we've sort of got that part, which is kind of the trickiest part out of the way, sometimes it's easy to forget. We actually need to do what we're asked to do, which is split when I say split into ratios. Split into the ratio. So that would be, if we had 2:7, that means we've got 2 times $5 is to 7 times $5, which is $10 is to $35. And there we go, we split our $45 up into our ratio of 2:7. Okay, now I'm going to move on to our next part, which is where we're going to be using fractions to sort of divide our quantity up. So a couple of different methods with ratios. It doesn't really matter which one you go for. They're all kind of going to get you to the same place anyway. Okay, so Johannes, Claymore, and Fred share a box containing 24 chocolates in the ratio 4:3:1. How many does each person get? So our first thing is we're going to find the total number of parts. Okay, so we've got 4 plus 3 plus 1 is equal to 8 parts altogether. Okay, now next is the fraction of the whole required is the number in the ratio divided by the total number of parts that we have. So the fraction of the whole required is fraction, which is the number in the ratio, divided by the total number of parts. So if we've got our ratio, which was 4:3:1, we're going to have, we've got 4/8 times 24 is to 3/8 times 24, which is to 1/8 times 24. Okay, and 4/8 is the same as a half. So the first one's going to be 12. 3 times 24 is 60/72, divided by 8 is 9, and 1/8 of 24 is 3. Okay, so 12 is to 9 is to 3. All right, so that's a reasonably quick way of going about it. I'm sure you can see that it's not really much different to the other way, but it's at least another method that you can use to solve these ratio problems. And really, you're quite welcome to go with whichever way sort of makes sense for you the most. Okay, so if we want to find now a whole quantity from a ratio, we're going to use the unitary method to do that. Right, so here's a little problem for us. So Dana can recall that the ratio of flour to sugar in her ultra sweet cookie recipe is 3:8. Okay, if she has 4 cups of flour, how many cups of sugar will she need? Now, with this one here, we don't need to worry about how many total parts we have. We're just going to worry about sort of those ideas of the fractions of the different parts that we've got. Okay, so the first thing we're going to think about is the fact that, okay, so 4 cups is the same as 3 parts. Okay, so if 4 cups is worth 3 parts, then we know we're going to bring this down to the individual unit like we are with the unitary method. So therefore, 1 part is equal to 4/3 cups. Okay, so see what we've done there? We've divided the 4 by 3 to get 1 part is 4/3 cups. So then we need for the amount of sugar, we know it's 3:8. So that means that, therefore, 8 parts. Okay, so let's think about this. What have we done to get from here to here? We've times by 8, so that means this side is going to be times by 8. And we end up with 8 times 4/3 cups. And that's 4 is 32/3. 32/3, which is 10 2/3 cups. Okay, which I'm sure if you've ever baked any cookies before is way a lot of sugar. So that's sort of a way to go about it. And since this is a worded question, we should probably finish it off. How much cups of sugar? So let's write Dana will need 10 2/3 cups of sugar. Okay, so that's sort of the beginnings of using these ratios ideas to sort of solve some problems. The number one thing you can do is sort of spend a lot of time in practicing these. Okay, so spending plenty of time in class, getting through as many as you can, so that you are totally familiar with every different type that you can get when we move through to exams and other kinds of assessment. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in class. Thanks.